Cartoons are usually happy-go-lucky, but sometimes the happy-go-lucky cartoons can often be more serious, dark, and sometimes downright disturbing, sometimes relying on shock value, and sometimes reliance on heavy themes. Ninjago is no exception to this. So, here we are, 5 of the most disturbing Ninjago moments. In episode 4, titled Never Trust a Snake, Lloyd, after being betrayed by both the Hypnobrai and the Anachondri, seeks to find the most powerful tribe, the Anachondri, only to find pretty much nothing except for bones laying around. That's where he meets his old chum, then turned nemesis, Pythor P. Chumsworth, or simply better known as Pythor. But what about this makes this scene so creepy? Well, later, it's been revealed that Pythor had actually eaten his own kind just to survive. You would think that a show like Ninjago would stay away from a topic such as cannibalism, especially when it's considered a crime in the real world. So, how in the world this managed to get past the censors is beyond me. In episode 95 of Ninjago, titled The Darkness Comes, we see the debut of possibly the most frightening villains we have ever seen in the show up until that point. The Oni, demon that predate Ninjago, and who are with an eternal war with the dragons. They come out of the realm crystal, using it as a passageway to enter Ninjago. And what happens next is truly haunting. They start taking out all the lights, and then start attacking the people. And once you're pulled into their grasp, there is no escape. As the villagers get turned to stone. This scene is very haunting, especially how it mirrors the Death Eaters from Harry Potter, and how it is similar to the Greek mythology legend of Medusa, a gorgon with snakes for hair, who if you stared at for too long, you would be turned to stone. The odd similarities are chilling, but also interesting at the same time. In episode 72, titled Pause and Effect, towards the beginning of the episode, we see Wu, for some reason, fighting some Vermilion warriors, before notifying that the time punch wore off and his strength has returned, and claims that he alone will save Ninjago. Then, some Vermilion eggs start sprouting, which seem to host some very familiar faces to Wu. The first one being Misako, who questions why Wu failed her. Wu claims that he made a mistake, an error in judgment, and says that he should have loved you before being cut off by his dead brother Garmadon, who says that Wu led Garmadon to his dark path, and how he had failed him. And then all of a sudden Moro appears and says that Wu had failed him too, and Wu is just wondering, it does not understand what is going on. And Moro makes the claim that due to Wu's arrogance, Moro became his worst failure when he could have been his greatest success, and points out how he has made more mistakes than just the one he made in his battle with Acronix earlier in the season. Then Acronix and Crux show up and says that they are just the latest mistake. As those familiar faces surround Wu with swords and plan to kill him, you see the ninja's face is saying that we could have helped and that you didn't have to be alone. The thing that makes the most chilling is that they're right. He didn't have to be alone. What makes this scene particularly creepy is not only how they just sprout out from vermilion eggs, and yes, it is just a hallucination, but in his mind it seems so real, because it was his own arrogance for not finishing off Acronix earlier in the season that caused this entire scenario to happen, and he deeply regrets what he did. Near the end of the Season 9 premiere episode of Ninjago called Firstborn, right after Iron Baron, the newest villain of the show of the time, says, "Lost, are we?" we get a zoomed out shot of his throne, but something about it looks awfully familiar. And then that's where we realized how disturbing this moment is. That's right. Iron Baron killed the Ultra Dragon and used its bones to make out his throne. This moment is pretty disturbing, since the last time we saw Ultra Dragon was in a legacy short titled Green and Gold, where Lloyd said goodbye to the Ultra Dragon, but Lloyd never saw what happened to his beloved pet. Now, this entry is a bit odd, as it contains two different scenes, but both sharing the same idea: getting beaten to almost your demise. And what's ironic is that both of them are in the same season. In episode 79 of Ninjago, titled Dead Man's Squall, Zane has a bone to pick with Mr. E, one of the generals of the Sons of Garmadon. Zane asks Mr. E twice if he is the quiet one before Mr. E charges at him, and Zane tries to dodge it by shooting arrows at him. They engage in an epic brawl, but Mr. E gets the upper hand and nearly kills Zane. Now, the original idea of this scene was for Mr. E to have been Echo Zane, but because, due to the time reversal of Season 6, there'd be too much explaining to do, according to the Hagmans. But this scene is pretty haunting, but it's not the only one. 4 episodes later, in episode 83, titled True Potential, Lloyd makes the decision to trap his friends in a room because he thinks that because he saved his father all those years ago, he could do it once again. But he then soon realizes what error he has made and how he possibly made the biggest mistake of his life. This new Garmadon is nothing like the original. He is full-blown evil and will do nothing and will do absolutely anything to get what he wants. even if it means killing his own son. Lloyd is shocked that he has power in the first place, and tries desperately to convince his father that this isn't you, and that Harumi is using him. But this Garmadon does not oblige, and nearly kills his son, leaving him there to possibly die. Being left in the dust to die is such an eerie concept, and such a scary idea. And the fact that it happened twice in the same season is not only marvelous, but also very chilling. Thanks for watching. If you want me to do a part 2 of disturbing Ninjago moments, let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know if you have any more disturbing moments that aren't on my list on my phone right now. But anyways, I am Luke the Ninjroid, and I'll see you guys in the next video.